Turning point number 2. Wait, there is a second one? There might be. Hi folks, I'm Voba. I'm a singer and a vocal trainer, and this is my channel about anatomical vocal training. I had 2 turning points in my voice when I started my vocal training. Now, the turning point is the weakest point in your voice, which I explain in depth in that video. Also, in that video series, also how to fix it and how to make it stronger. However, after I kind of like made my first turning point stronger, I discovered I have a second one. So, through vocal training, the voice changes, right? So everybody, not everybody, but most people have like a weak point somewhere in the middle of their voice. And most people, they, especially when they use aliquot division, aka falsetto or whistle notes, which I explain in depth in that video, they have like a click and then the voice becomes very weak. But many people have like high, pretty strong voice, low, pretty strong voice, but like in the middle, it's kind of weak. And with the right vocal training, you will get this weak point stronger and stronger and stronger until it kind of like, levels up with the rest. And so that's what I did. And then I increased my range again. So you first work until you have a certain range, and then you fix your weak point in the middle. Now, once that weak point is way stronger, then you stretch your voice again to gain more vocal range. And that kind of like pulls your voice apart again. And for you, not necessarily, right? But for me, that's what happened. And there was another weak spot in the middle. Now, it was a bit higher this time, and it was not the same weakness. My first weak spot was around this area. Around there. And it was like that was like the strongest I could have, right? It was very weak, and then I made it stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, and now it's like, at the level with everything else. However, then I stretched my voice further, and then my second weak spot was around here. And there, it wasn't as weak as the first one because my voice had grown already, and my system was established already. I could always have it wide because that's the first step really that you need to do in order to fix these weak spots. To first have a wide throat and maintain the wide throat with whatever you sing or speak, and then the I fixed that with doing the turning point exercise, but going to more extreme, meaning I don't just went from to there and back in, but this time with this turning point I went to like a really chesty voice sound, and which I also did later on with the lower voice and the lower turning point, and that really made this turning point disappear. So if you have a weak spot in your voice, do not despair. That is normal for most people. You can make the weak spot be way, 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 way stronger so that you have one voice from top to bottom and back to top. And also, if you keep stretching your voice, then you might discover a second weak spot, a bit higher than the first one, that will then need your attention in order to make it stronger again. But this is part of vocal training. That's why I'm trying to teach my people to be okay with always starting from scratch. Because every time you feel like, I have accomplished something, then I take some of the muscles away that help the movement, and then it's just the pure muscle that does the movement, and then it's like, oh, I'm starting from scratch. Obviously they don't, you don't start from scratch, but the feeling is like, oh, why am I taking 5 steps back now? But these 5 steps back, they make your voice so much stronger. They make your technique so much better, so it's a mentality thing that people be able to just be like, oh, okay, I've discovered I cannot do that again, and I'll just work again in the new way that the exercise goes until I can do it again. And this is so helpful when you create this stoic mentality inside yourself to just continue, just always continue, and be okay with being able to do less, because you know that it will bring you further when you go again with these weak spots, and with patience and persistence doing these same exercises a bit higher again, starting from feeling like it's from scratch, but which is not, but that is a really, really helpful mental attitude, to just be like, okay, let me just start all over, with the next spot in my voice. I hope this gives you some valuable insight and inspires you to have very, very much patience and persistence with yourself and your voice. If so, please like my video, and leave me a comment or subscribe down below, and I see you around. Don't go yet, here's some important information. If this is all a bit out of context for you and you don't know quite how to put all of this together, I have created a playlist of the full anatomical vocal training, so that you understand from beginning to end, where it starts, why this muscle, why that muscle, because some of the videos that I'm doing, out of context, they might be like, why are you doing this, right? So if you go to my channel, you will go to the playlists, and then you will find the full anatomy playlist right there, and it has everything from start to beginning, why to stretch what muscle groups, how to stretch them, why to begin there, what to do. So it's kind of like a chronological order, so that you can really have a full understanding of the whole thing that I'm teaching here. So check it out. I see you over there.